He's just the bad guy. They go back in time and say he's this cute little kid, and then they give him a backstory. Why?
To make us compassionate for the villain.
Yes, to justify the villain's actions, to give you compassion for the villain, or there is a new thing in our literature. It has permeated to our literature, to our movies, to our society, and it is called metamorphosizing. Metamorphing, or metamorphosizing, is taking that which is good and making it evil. Making that which is evil into that which is good. For example, and I think we touched on this just a little bit last week, but for example, in your old type of mindset, old literature, old thought, old stories, the dragon's the bad guy, the snake, the serpent. If it was a story that I was constructing, it would be the cockroach. Okay, that is your ultimate villain. The Darth Vader would be your wicked bad guy. Your orc, your ogre. Wait a minute now, who's seen Shrek? Right? Shrek is the good guy. Yes, he has many layers. And there's whole things about him, and he might be grumpy, but you're just actually jumping to conclusions thinking that ogres are bad. And so our general norm of thought of what was considered good and bad is now all of a sudden able to shift. There is no more absolute good and absolute bad when I can explain away why that which is bad got that way. So that you can have not only compassion for him, but then you start to want to root for the bad guy. Right? There was a movie, I don't remember which decade it came in, Nicolas Cage was one of the primary actors, was the main actor. And it comes up, he has a facial reconstruction. And he has to face off, thank you. And I never saw this movie, but I saw the premise of it. And I was fascinated with one aspect of it. I was fascinated with this one aspect. As he goes through the story, his intent is to play the bad guy, to appear as the bad guy, so that he can catch the man who is doing heinous crimes. However, in his quest to catch that which is evil, he ends up shooting a police officer. So therefore, in his quest to catch evil and to stop evil, he actually ends up becoming that evil. And yet, throughout the movie, you're still rooting for this man who has now committed evil because you're having to weigh, well, there's this evil that's really bad, but this evil is just a little bad. Now, how has society gone through this paradigm shift where we are moving from acceptance of evil and we're weighing which evil is acceptable and which evil is just a little over the top? We can't handle that kind of evil, but we can in this. Or the paradigm shifts completely. The second type of paradigm shift would be the one where you have the evil character, or you would think it'd be the evil character, becomes the good guy. And who becomes the bad guy? The one who should be the respectable one. The one that normally would be the role of the great prince. Back to Shrek for a moment. The good guy is the ogre in the forest who is grumpy. And who is the bad guy? The prince, who instead of coming to save the day, now we're going to shrink him down. He's no longer even half the size of the princess, and he talks in a whiny voice, and he's very vain. But now we've taken our classic roles, and we are now flip-flopping them to get an idea of who is good versus bad.